This is a 4-key programmable USB keyboard inside from Amazon. This is what it looks like. It has these keys here, which are removable. They have this red actuator there. Don't know if these are cherry keys or not, but you can see the keycap there. And you can get a close-up look of what that mechanical key looks like. So you have 4 of these on this particular unit. They do come in 2, 3, 4, 5, all different number of key combinations. Now the interesting thing here is that there is a micro USB connector there at the end. So this is the front. And then on the back of it here, you'll notice that is a USB-C style connector. So you could use either one, either micro USB or the USB-C there. On the back here, you see that you have these 4 rubber feet. And they are kind of sticky and grippy, so that it won't slide around on your desk or whatever surface you're putting it on. And you can see that it's kind of this sandwich construction here, where you have this white on the bottom and the top, and then it's clear plastic or acrylic in the middle. And you can almost see the PCB board, or it looks like a film almost inside there, connecting everything together. This is the sound that it makes. You can see how much travel there is on the keys. They do have a good amount of travel. Okay. And then it comes with this USB cable. It's USB-A on one end, and it is micro USB on the other. There is no USB-C cable on this particular unit. This is the very brief manual. Ecarke is the brand. It comes in 2 to 6 keys. There are different modes here: programmable, 1000 hertz repeating rate. You can do keyboard mode, mouse, multimedia, that's like play, fast forward, rewind, joystick, 1-key password, so you can program an ASCII password in here and push a button to type that entire password in. There's a 2-step operation, firmware upgrade, and custom keyboard name. And that is the device name reported to the host or the OS that you're connecting it to. Now they recommend that you use the Chrome browser, and that's interesting because the software to program this keyboard is actually browser-based. So it'll open up a browser, and you use the browser, and it detects the USB keyboard in the browser, and you program it that way. Now, it is pre-programmed, so on this 4-unit keyboard, these keys are 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively. You can change that in the software. You will have to download it from this link. It says this software is non-toxic. Please rest assured to download. That doesn't sound very assuring, but I think the point is that they don't sign their software with developer certificates. To me, I'd rather pay a little bit more for this and get software that is digitally signed, so I can have that assurance that it is authentic and hasn't been modified. But anyway, if you're on a Windows system, you would double-click this executable. You do need to, at least on my system, I had to download the Visual C++ redistributable package from Microsoft because it was missing a few, well, 2 DLL files that look like Visual C++ runtime libraries. So you may see those errors when you try to run it. you'll need to search on Microsoft's site. Don't go anywhere else for it, but get it directly from Microsoft, the Visual C++ redistributable package. I use the 2015 version, and I use the x86 installer, not the x64, which is the 64-bit installer, because I think their software is 32-bit, not 64-bit. The other thing is that you need to connect this, and then you'll see a browser page where you can actually click in and scan for the device and configure it. Now, there are keyboard modes. So in this, you can program one single key press. There is another mode where you could do up to 3 key presses. I did not see a way to insert configurable delays in between the steps of the key presses. There's also a mouse mode here where you can configure this device to act like a mouse. So you could click the left or right mouse button, middle mouse button, scroll, X, Y axis movements, and so forth. There's also a multimedia mode. So this is controlling music playback and volume, for example. It can also open the calculator, browser, email. There's a 2-step operation, which is a little bit interesting. So when you push the key down, it sends a certain key press, and when you lift it up, it sends a different key press. And the example that they gave here is that on key down, you could hold the key down and it'll copy whatever you have selected, and then on your separate mouse, click into a different application, you can release the key and it can execute a paste command. So that's how you might use this 2-step operation. That way you get 2 functions within a single button. So key down is copy, key up is paste. There's also the password function. I probably wouldn't do this just because I don't like storing my password in a device that could be stolen physically. But you can enter 3 different ASCII passwords and have it trigger that password when you push the button. It can be a game controller like a joystick, and then you can configure the keyboard name and device name that shows up in Device Manager, for example, when you plug this into the computer. I should also mention that there is a KVM mode, which didn't work with one of my audio devices that recognizes USB keyboards, and I wanted to use this as a controller for that. For example, to control mute or solo or channel selection, I could use this to mute and unmute. But the KVM mode in this particular programmable keyboard did not work for that. Neither did any of the other modes where it operated as a keyboard. Just keep that in mind. You can use this with Windows, Mac computers. It works fine, and out of the box, it does 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order on those buttons. You shouldn't have any problems there. There were Mac executables in that download package. There was an M1 executable and an x86 executable for Mac, and there's also a Windows executable. So theoretically, you could use a Mac or a PC to program this device. But it is browser-based in all cases, so just bear that in mind. And that's it for the 4-key USB programmable keyboard.